Welcome to the Midlife Leap, a lifestyle talk show for women in midlife. I'm your host, Sunita Johnson, and I am excited to share tips and interviews on topics ranging from business, career, current news, fashion, shopping, health, and so much more. And because I'm known as the Midlife Leap Coach, from time to time, I'll share some of my signature Midlife Leap coaching tips. So come on, ladies, let's reignite and reimagine our Midlife Leap journey together. Inflation just continues to hit us in the pockets. Not only are food and gas prices on the rise and continue to go up, next they're hitting us in the pockets with the price of our first class stamps. Yes, it's going to cost more to mail those letters to your friends and family and to pay those bills if you're not doing it online. It's going to increase from 58 cents to 60 cents on July 10th. Now, obviously, I've been living under a rock because I had no idea that the price of stamps had increased from 55 cents up to 58 cents. Apparently, it did so August 21st of 2021. But see, the reason why I didn't catch that is because I had a stack of forever stamps that I've been using for the past few months. You know, it's very interesting that the price of postage has been going up since 2006. Every 1 to 2 years, a few cents, I guess, until they get to $1. I don't know what's going on. I guess, is service getting better? I don't know. I think, aren't we having a lot of issues with mail being late, but they're increasing our prices? That's something I think we should address, right? Now, the other prices that's going to increase with the postage, like I mentioned, the first class stamp to mail a 1 ounce letter is going to be 60 cents. Each additional ounce for that letter will cost you 24 cents. Metered letters will increase from 53 cents to 54 cents, and domestic postcards will go from 40 cents to 44 cents. To mail those international letters, those will rise from $1.30 to $1.40. Now, the Postal Regulatory Commission, the PRC, must approve the price increases before they can go in effect. So that gives you a bit of time to stock up on those forever stamps at the current price because you can use those for your domestic mail for as long as you have them. Are you at a midlife career transition seeking meaningful work? You know, employment that provides meaning, satisfaction, and purpose? Well, my guest, Sherry Platt, is a career counselor, recruiter, educator, and social entrepreneur, and she brings over 20 years experience advising everyone from professional executives, young adults, to midlife career changers on how to clarify the work that they want and discover jobs that are satisfying. As a recruiter for a variety of industries, she knows what employers are looking for in their candidates and therefore how to prepare her clients for interviews, salary negotiations, and job searches. As a career counselor with an MA in counseling specializing in life transitions, Sherry helps clients clarify their career goals and overcome the barriers to their own happiness and success. Sherry, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Sunita. I'm happy to be here.
So tell us, why is meaningful work important specifically for midlife women?
Well, I just heard a very interesting statistic, and I made sure to review it before I said it here, that the newest research is that we are most productive between the ages of 60 and 70. I don't know if you saw that information. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then also between 70 and 80 as well. So we have a lifetime of professional opportunities and ways in which we can reinvent ourselves and continue to find work. There's also the practical side, which is not unlike myself. A lot of us, either because we were at home raising children or life just got expensive, we didn't have an opportunity to save for our retirement. And so we actually have to work later. Why is meaningful work so important? Because if we don't have meaning in our work, if we are working just to make a buck, the opportunities available to us are not as abundant. And our culture has told us that work has to be associated with suffering or hardship in order to make money. And the truth is, from a neurological standpoint, if we're going to talk neural pathways, you actually can't be your best and most successful if you are miserable, unhappy, scared. Really, like the neurology of the brain actually shuts down when we are in survival mode. So if we're showing up every day to a job that we don't like, that has no significance, that is a bad culture for us, and we're doing it because we think we should, or because it's the only way to make money, we're actually working against ourselves. So that's sort of I could go on and on about this particular topic, but the real reason why is that if you're not connected to your work in mind and heart, your opportunities are actually smaller, and the opportunity for you to make more money is actually more limited. So meaningful work is extraordinarily important. Yeah.
You are literally speaking to the choir. I had this conversation with someone about a month ago, if that. I'm not even going to say who, but I was trying to explain to this person that I have to do what I need, my purpose. I have to do what inspires me. I know the money's going to come from that, because I cannot make a great income at something that I'm miserable at, and where I'm being harassed or, mistreated or whatever. It's like, it's not possible. I don't think it's possible for anybody really, but
it's actually like from a neural perspective, a brain perspective, it's not possible. You can't perform at your maximum if you're scared. You can't perform at your maximum if you're perpetually stressed out, looking over your shoulder, anxious. It's not possible. There's actually, we talk about this when I'm preparing people to job search, that if you are coming from a place of scarcity, the brain actually reduces. Well, think about it. If you're running from something that's attacking you, do you think that you're relaxed and going, let's consider our options? No, you're going, I gotta go. Stay focused. And so the brain literally shuts down, and you can't function at a high enough level if you're not happy and content and aligned with what you're doing.
So how does Step Career Academy help clients discover their next, or how do they get beyond that scarcity energy?
So the Steps Career Academy is basically this should be completed. The Steps Career Academy website will be done probably May. But until then, if people are curious, they can go to my website, the Steps Career System. So this is a system I created about 10 years ago. So I've been doing this for 20 years. And I realized that, I used to give the strong interest inventory and the Myers-Briggs. And what I realized is that all we were doing was picking people up from one thing they hated into another thing they hated, even if they thought they were going to like it initially. And so the longer I've sat across from people talking about work and listening to them, the more I've realized people actually do know what they want to do. And I will have somebody sit across from me and say, I have no idea what I want to do, none whatsoever. And I'm like, yeah, you do. And they're like, no, I don't. And then by the third session, it's right there. But people either think they don't deserve it, they're not worthy of it, they'll never have it, or they can't get it. Like those are usually these blocks. And so what I realized is that it's actually people's thinking that stops them from moving forward. And let's be honest, none of us have ever been taught how to do career management or career transitions, right? You go to high school, you come out, you take the college path, or you take the trades path, or you take whatever path, and you kind of just take what comes along. There's no system for figuring out what's next. So I created this process called the STEPS Career System, and the STEPS stands for skills, themes, experience, parameters, and service. And so we go through these 5 aspects to determine what is your next best career move. So people put a lot of pressure on themselves to figure out what are they going to do with the rest of their lives. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, it shuts down the process. Let's just figure out what your next best step is in your professional career. And let's figure out what that is, and then see what life brings you in that process. So is this
aligned with their skill sets?
Yeah, so let's go through it. So now before we even start the steps, we do what's called the HOTS exercise. HOTS stand for habits of thought. So you know the expression, wherever you go, there you are, right? So I work with a lot of people, clients who keep having the same experience no matter where they go. Well, that's because their thinking hasn't changed. So you can go from job to job to job, but if you're still having the same thoughts, still having the same perception, you're just going to have the same experience over and over and over again. So the very first step we take is looking at your belief systems around work. It's a pretty in-depth process. It gets very personal very quickly. We look at your ancestral background. We look at your what your parents did for a living, what they thought about work. Most of us come from parents who have a lot of trauma, whether it's the depression or it's coming from another country or it's poverty or slavery. And so that's all here. Yeah. And then that has formed unconscious belief systems about work. There's also family dynamics. There's also PTSD. There's also trauma. So I can sit across from a client and just listen to how they talk about their work experience and know within 15 minutes if there's been sexual abuse or sexual trauma, just based on how they talk about work.
Okay.
So the first place we start with is mindset, belief systems, habits of thought. Then we talk about that. I make them aware while we're going through the process so we can have some clarity. Like, is this a thought? Is this a belief system? Is this a truth? What are we dealing with? So after we do that, then we go through E, which is, what is the experience you want to have at work? How do you want work to feel? Right. And so I always give myself a sort of an example. When I've worked by myself from home before, it gets lonely. So the next experience I have might be that I want a more integrated hybrid process. I want to work around people. Like, that's the experience. How do I work to feel? The second piece is parameters, practicalities of life. How much money do I need to make? Do I have to commute? Do I have young children at home? Am I a free bird? Once the kids are gone, I have no responsibility other than to myself. What are my parameters? Is there a disability that needs a accommodation? These are the practicalities. We do a very in-depth skills inventory. I had to create my own because most of the skills inventory online or through card sorts don't really look at what people the lifetime of experience and skills that people bring along with them wherever they go. And then the last piece is, and I can have a whole conversation with you on the skills inventory. And then the last piece is, what are you in service of? And so this is, what is your why of work? So Sunita, why are you doing what you're doing? What is the purpose behind you bringing the podcasts, right? You may want to, why midlife leap? There's something inside of you that you're serving that's actually benefiting everybody. Mm-hmm. And these pieces all fit together to help you decide what is the next best career move. So it only usually takes 5 or 6 sessions. That's it. And then people have a pretty good feel of what they want. And then if they need help with the second half, which is how do they get it? Mm-hmm. So that, career counseling is always broken up into 2. What do you want and how do you get it?
Right. Okay.
So before I talked to a woman who knew what she wanted. Now we're just going to work on how to get it. LinkedIn profile, interview preparation, job search strategy, circles of influence, etc.
So do you help people? Because not everybody wants a 9 to 5.
That's exactly right. Right? I don't either. Right?
Most of my life, you haven't really, had a 9 to 5, except for a few little moments here and there. But so as a self-employed, do you work with people who are self-employed and maybe they just need, like, I have part-time work, working from home that works so much better for everything else that I want to do? Do you help them create that?
That's part of the steps, right? So the first place we start is, what is the experience you want to have? Mm-hmm. Right. And so they might be, well, I don't want to work full time. I want to join the gig economy. I want to be a contractor. Right now, I'm consulting 10, 15 hours a week as a recruiter, building out the Steps Career Academy, which will be an online learning system so people can do things on their own. Also, I'll give people different points in which they can access this information so that's affordable to people. But absolutely, I don't have an idea of what, I mean, I have a lot of opinions about the workplace and how dysfunctional it really is. We can have that conversation on another show. But some people like it. Some people are done with it. And I think people like you and me look for a different type of lifestyle. So I don't have an idea of what your answers should be. Yeah. But the STEPS system actually helps you to define that for yourself.
Now, do you help them with their resume as well for those who want to stay in that corporate environment? Because you may have some people who that maybe they want to get to that executive level, but don't have the confidence within to actually pursue it, but they actually have the skill sets and the ability to get there.
So the skills inventory is so interesting. When I first started giving this exercise to people, I was shocked at how emotional people get around this. And I don't care whether it's a new college graduate or a CEO of a company. There's something like, there's this belief system, the HOTS, that people don't have anything to offer, that they're not, there's a sort of this lack of self-confidence. And the skills inventory, I mean, doctors, lawyers, it doesn't matter. People are terrified of this inventory because they're afraid they don't have anything to offer. So I'm only saying that because the reason, I have this workshop called Resume Love. And the reason why I call it Resume Love is if you take the accents off of resume, you've got resume love. And it's really about resuming love of yourself and really sort of honoring the work that you've done, the skills that you've accomplished, the knowledge that you've had. And then how do you put it into a document that you own? This is why I'm really against, forgive me, resume writers who write people's resumes for them. People have to know how to write their own resumes. It's your intention tool. It's literally like, this is a document that is now saying where you want to go. Tells about where you've been, but it's also where you want to go. So I'm all about resume love, teaching people. I mean, I'm with people through the process. We go through the resume writing process together. But and I'm a recruiter. So I spend all day looking at people's LinkedIn profiles and people's resumes. So I actually know what managers are looking for, HR people are looking for. And if you don't want to do a resume, all the information we're getting in there helps you build out a great website. Two
quick points mentioning resume love. That's a section in my course that I'm about to launch called Leverage, for women to look at their life skill sets, because we tend to diminish ourselves. So it's interesting to hear that we do it in our resume for careers. But another thing that I read recently that regarding job searches is that men tend to apply for positions whether they believe it's out of their reach or not, but women will not.
Well, that's true. I mean, we could go around that a lot. And by the way, just because I do that as a recruiter, I can see it. And if I don't like it, delete. I'm screening their resumes. And so if it comes through and I'm like, what are they thinking? So it's true. I mean, there's a great book that I used to recommend to my MBA students called Why Women Don't Ask. And it was written by two MBA graduates who'd been in the world of work for a long time. And it's true. I mean, the glass ceiling on salaries is a very real thing. And there's two things, right? There's the glass ceiling that comes from being a woman, being a minority woman, being a gay woman, an older woman over 45. Like, yes, that does exist. Yeah. And so does our belief system. Right. So the reason why a lot of women don't make more money is because they just don't ask for it. And I will tell you that because I'm also the person who negotiates the salaries. Nothing that managers don't, recruiters do. Often, some managers do, but it depends on the company. Often I'm the one who's responsible. I work in conjunction with the manager, but I have a lot of say based on compensation guidelines. But I have a lot of say as to what people make. And I'm always surprised at how, many women can be very good at asking, I have to say, and many men can really be bad at it. But the truth is that women have been underpaid for so long. Minorities have been underpaid for so long that this is why so many states are eliminating the question, what is your current salary? So in California, you can't ask that question anymore. In Florida, you can, but in California, you can't.
So you help people with their interviewing skills as well.
Yep.
Okay, great. So how can a potential client reach out to you? Because you can help them with their resume, well, understanding where they should be, what they want as far as their career, help them with their resume, help them with their interviewing skills, all of that.
Correct. That makes me very unique. Many career coaches don't do the part where they help you think about what you want to do, but they don't do the rest of it. They
keep you where you don't want to be, where you don't really don't want to be.
I only know I've worked with a lot of people who work with career coaches that don't really have the proper background, and I see how much it hurts them, and then they end up coming to me and they've spent a lot of money. And that makes me really sad for them. So
we're going to have you back a few more times. Seriously.
Please, I could talk about this. I mean, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, and that's one place you can find me is Sherry Platt. You can find me on LinkedIn. My saying is the world of work is my playground. I've been playing in it for 20 to 30 years. And so I've talked to literally thousands of HR people, thousands of employers, thousands of hiring managers, and thousands of candidates. So it's sort of my playground. It's my wheelhouse. And so the answer to your question is they can reach me soon, probably in May. I don't know when you're showing this. They'll be able to go to the stepscareeracademy.com, and that will be up and running. But until then, they can go to the stepscareersystem.com. They can also, I do have a website called sherryplatt.com. That might be easy for people. And if you go to those websites, you'll be able to find me there.
Perfect. I believe this will be up in May, so your new website will be up by then.
Yeah, that'll be great. It'll be very exciting. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you, Sherry, for joining me and joining us, and we're going to have you back.
I'm excited. It was great meeting you. Thank you very much. Thanks for reaching out.